Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for being here today. As always, if you are new here and you are interested in tarot readings, true crime cases, unsolved cases, missing persons cases, and the occasional candle making video or fragrance review video, please consider subscribing. And as always, for all of you who come back every week, I thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate all of you. I am going to have to apologize because I do know that this video is coming out a little bit later than normal. Today was just a really hectic day. I'm still trying to work on my fall inventory on Etsy, and I'm starting to now put together kind of what I'm trying to do for Christmas. Kind of, it's a mess, but that's a whole nother video. For those of you who watched my DIY silicone mold making videos, I could not use those because the smell of vinegar never went away and it was just god-awful, and so I had to dispose of them. I did purchase more silicone mold online and tried it again, but like I said, I digress. I can spend 20 minutes talking about just that, and you guys aren't here for silicone molds today. So anyway, I apologize because I do know that this video is coming out a little bit late, but better late than never. And also, for those of you who are interested in a private tarot reading, my email is in the description box. All you have to do is email me and I'll give you all of the information that you need. And let's just get started. So today's video was a requested video by someone, and she reached out to me. And when she reached out, she said the name, and I had no idea who this person was. I'd never heard of him, never heard anything about him, didn't know anything about him. And that is Darren Seals. So Darren Seals was a 29-year-old African-American man living in St. Louis, Missouri. And he was actually a protester and an activist. Okay, he was found dead on September 6, 2016. He had been shot to death before his car was torched and set afire. He was 29 at the time of his death, and the St. Louis police labeled his death as a homicide, but have never been able to solve his murder. The thing about Darren Seals is that he was very, what's the word I can say, blunt speaker, and never held back when he was being interviewed or when he was posting on social media. And he was very well known locally to the St. Louis area. And one of the things that made him a controversial person is that he called out organizations like Black Lives Matter and local Democratic politicians for promising to make change and promising to do things that they never actually did. One of his quotes, and I wrote it down here, let me find it. One of his quotes he had made on social media on May 24th, 2015, he wrote, quote, "Black death is a business. Millions and millions flowing through the hands of these organizations in the name of Mike Brown, yet we don't see any of it coming into our community or being used to help our youth. I've been calling out this shit for months. People see this as an opportunity to build a name but make bank at the expense of the lives of people like me." So really just kind of throwing them under the bus for collecting these funds and not doing for the community what they promised to do. And he was controversial for that. Like I said, he never held back when he was being interviewed. And, you know, he was actually furious at the exploitation of his community by these outsiders for profit. And he was very close with the Mike Brown family. Very protective of the Brown family, but he was also, even though he was a protester, he was actually he was absolutely against gun violence. I believe, if I remember correctly, he had been shot, and once he recovered from that, he absolutely came out against violence of any kind from anyone. And so, you know, he was kind of, I think, a threat to a lot of people on both sides. Just a little bit about him on a personal level. He actually worked at General Motors on the assembly line. He performed as a hip-hop artist with a local group called the DOA. He was known as the King D Seals by his friends and family. He had a younger brother who he mentored, and he actually had plans of trying to open up a youth center for the local community. He would organize Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, toy drives for needy families in the area. Absolutely a staunch person against gun violence and police brutality. And literally, like I said, he was very outspoken against local Democratic politicians and large organizations. So I have to wonder if that is what led to his murder. So this was a person that was after real change, is basically what I'm saying. He was after real change, not trying to make money from that change or trying to claim that he was making change, but he was after real change. And like I said, he was found murdered on September 6, 2016 in a car that had been set ablaze. And so today's reading is going to be on Darren Seals, and to see if we can kind of figure out what or who could potentially be behind his murder. Like I said, the St. Louis police did confirm his death was a homicide. They have not been able to close this case. We're looking at several years now. And I said in the beginning of this video, I had no idea who this person was. I'd never heard of him. And it's just sad because he sounds like a person that really truly cared about the local community and was really trying to make a difference. And, you know, had he been allowed to continue his life and his mission, I cannot imagine, you know, the change that he would have been able to accomplish, especially for the youth, if he had been able to create that youth center. It's just a really sad story and a sad situation. All right, so I'm going to actually use the Hoodoo Tarot for this reading. This is what the box looks like. And I don't use this tarot deck very often, but I do try to think about, I know I have my Heaven and Earth tarot deck, which is like my ride or die deck, but usually when I do these readings, I do try to think about it a little bit and try to figure out what deck I'm drawn to for that particular reason. And I was drawn to the Hoodoo Tarot deck for Darren. Okay, so that's what I'm using for the bulk of the reading today. I also have the Urban Tarot because, you know, it just really, that one to me kind of resonated for this particular reading because we are talking about a city and it's very modern, and the images I think would really be really good for this reading. And then I also want to pull, which I usually don't do for my regular readings, I do this for my private readings, but I want to pull an oracle deck or an oracle card at the end of the reading because I actually do want to see if we can get a message from Darren and see what that message is to all of us. And I'm going to do that through this oracle deck. All right, so let's get started. Let me move my holder here, and we're going to see what Darren has for us today. What messages does Darren Seals have for us today? So this reading is about Darren Seals. I'll open my spirit guides to ask for any kind of information that you need to know, any kind of information that Darren Seals would like to get across for people. What would he like to share with us? Anything that he would like to share with us today. All right. What would Darren Seals, call upon Darren Seals, what would you like to share with us today? What would you like to tell us? Tell us your story. Tell us what happened to you that day. What happened to you that day? Whoa. All right, so we have the Big Queen, which is the Empress, number 3. We have the Six of Baskets, so that is the Six of Cups. So with that Six of Cups right there, I'm sitting there looking at it, and you know, that's an exchange, right? That's an exchange of money. So there's something here, and that was one of his main things that he was focused on was, you know, where was this money being funneled to? Because it certainly wasn't being funneled to the community. And that was what he was investigating before he was murdered. And now we've got, actually actually, no, sorry, that's the Six of Cups. That's the Six of Cups. Okay. This deck throws me off a little bit. I apologize. Six of Baskets, Six of Cups, not the Six of Pentacles. All right, Six of Cups. So we've got mom and we've got memories. All right. Mother of Coins. Three of Sticks, which is the Three of Wands. We have the Devil. Interesting. King of Swords, the Hierophant, Father of Sticks, which is the King of Wands, Courting, which is the Lovers, and we have the Seven of Knives, which is Deception. Interesting start. All right, so I don't usually use any kind of layout. Okay, I don't use a particular spread, but when I do lay the cards out like this, I do take into consideration what the cards are next to, what's above them, what's below them, what are in the corners, and so I do have connections that I look at in regards to where they're at here. And with that, what is this one? The big queen. So number 3, this is the Empress, right? And I said when I was shuffling, I said we've got mom and we've got childhood or memories. And immediately when I pulled out the Devil after the fact, when I pulled this out and I put this Devil underneath this Empress, to me that takes out his mother. Okay, so I feel like we're dealing with a woman that is not good. Okay, so there's something going on here with the Devil coming out. And what does it say? It says Bristol's Funeral Home, and it's Miss Robinson. So I feel like the Devil is connected to this Empress. So we're dealing with a woman. And, that makes me feel like because she is above the Devil, there's something going on with that woman. I have to wonder if there is a woman behind his murder. And this would be a woman that is high up, because the Empress is major arcana, and so typically we associate her with a mother or mother-like figure, or some female figure, but this is pretty high on the hierarchy just because it's a major arcana, and that to me kind of equates to someone in that higher level in life. And so this would be a woman who is in a high level position that would potentially be, or could potentially be, behind Darren's murder. And then is this someone who has a history with him? This is a blast from the past. So the Six of Cups, right? The one that I mistook for the Six of Pentacles. But this is childhood, which is exactly why I thought mom, childhood. So I don't know enough of personal information about Darren to know about his family makeup or his mother or father. So I really do feel like, either he had issues with his mother, or this is someone who is behind what happened to him. And I really do feel like it's the latter of the two, and it's not his mother. So, we've got little children, okay? We've got children in this one. And it looks like they're happy children. It looks like they could be siblings. It looks like they're just having a good exchange. It's very, you can see the affection between these two. It reminds me of a brother and sister. So I feel like in this situation, we're talking about the youth that Darren Seals was trying to fight for, because that's ultimately what he was looking to improve. Okay, he was trying to improve the life and the environment for the youth in that local community. And I did say that he wanted to be, he wanted to create a youth center. And so these children here make me think of that. And it makes me feel like that was his ultimate goal. That was his ultimate goal, was to, create an environment that would be a good environment for the youth in his local area. And this person here had completely different plans. This person did not want this to happen. Okay, I would actually say that this person was definitely a female and potentially African American. Okay, And then we also have the king of, or the father of knives, which is going to be your king of swords. So is this a couple? Is this someone that's working? I honestly, I'm looking at this empress and this king of swords as working together, but she is in a higher position than he is, okay? So in my opinion, the major arcana trumps the court cards. That's a little bit of a higher position. So this person here is fairly high as well, but she is over him. She's in charge of him, okay? But they're working together for a common cause. And that cause is definitely probably not this, okay? Not the youth, not improving the environment. That is not what they're doing. We have the death card. We have ancestors here. Ancestors, death. Death is transformation. It's change, but it's coming out reversed. And so this was the change that Darren wanted, right? And this is what really was happening. He could not, he was fighting for that change, but these people here, whoever this couple is here, this female and this male, they were fighting against this change. They did not want this change to happen. Okay, they had other goals, other motives, whether it was to line their pockets or what the case may be, but this was not the change that they were wanting, and they were trying to stop it from happening, which is exactly why this death card is coming out reversed. So this right here, this is change. All right, and again, I feel like this is something to do with the youth, because we've got children coming up. I mean, yeah, usually the Six of Cups does show two people, but it's usually an older female and a younger child, okay? Usually the Six of Cups does not show two children. Well, sometimes it does, but there's always an adult. Usually there's an adult in the card as well. And in this particular situation, I'm sorry about my beeping, guys. In this situation, we've got two children, and we're talking about youth. So I do think that that was really on Darren's mind. That was in his heart, was to fight for the future of the children in that local area. And I'm not saying that he was not concerned about other areas in the country, but that was where he was from. He was rooted in that community. That's where he was born. That's where he grew up. And that's what he was fighting for, to improve. And so his primary goal was that community. And I do believe that the children were the top priority in his mind, because we've got a couple of children now coming up, and that change was not happening, and they were fighting him. They were fighting him every step of the way. All right, so we've got the Hierophant. All right, so the Hierophant is society. I honestly, it's interesting that the Hierophant is right below that lack of change. So this society here, this was what he was trying. He was against the whole system. To me, is how I read these two cards, with this being on top of the Hierophant, because Hierophant doesn't always necessarily have to be only religion or religion related. It can be just society as a whole, or the system. And this is the system that he was trying to change, and that it was almost impossible. And to me, because it's coming up in this reading at all, tells me that that does have something to do with his murder, that is the reason. He wanted change. He wanted real change. He didn't want change on paper or change in the media. He wanted real change, and he was up against everyone. He was up against everyone. They were not going to allow it to happen. And then we have the Father of Sticks. So this is going to be our King of Wands. Interesting enough, I don't really look at Darren as being someone old enough to fit the king. Okay, a king age. Because I look at the kings as someone in their 40s, 50s, in that age range. And Darren was 29. I would look at him as coming out in more of a knight type way. Even potentially the Knight of Swords or Knight of Wands, okay, or both of those. That's what I would see him as. But I almost have to feel like, I really do feel like this is Darren, because I feel like he was wise beyond his years. I really do. I think in his heart of hearts, in his soul, he was much older, and he would have created he would have done so much had he not been murdered. And that is exactly why he was murdered, because he would have done much. He would have done that change. He would have tried to make that change. And so that scared someone. That was not appealing to someone higher up. I do actually believe that this is Darren. I believe that he's coming out as a King of Wands. And, when I look at this card, it looks different from the typical King of Wands. It reminds me of the Hermit. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the Hermit, and that's like a lone wolf. That's like a person that is fighting the battle by himself. He looks calm. He looks serious. This isn't a person that you would necessarily want to mess with, but it looks like a person that would trust you and help you if you truly needed it. This is definitely, to me, Darren coming out, and that just shows that passion and that drive that he had inside of him. And he was up against all of this. He was up against a system that did not align with his thoughts, wants, desires, anything. And that is what got him into trouble. And a lot of this, I think, this money laundering and things like the trying to figure out the money trail and whatnot, I do believe that a lot of that was being used for personal gain, right? This is that Nine of Coins, that Nine of Pentacles. This is all about luxury and wealth. Look at her. This is about lining your own pockets for your own greed. And I think that is what these people in these high positions really want to do. They use the ruse that they're raising money for, local communities and things like that, and families in poverty. That's what they say that they're trying to improve upon or help, but in actuality, they're lining their pockets for their own wants and needs and pleasures. Okay, so this is all about wealth and luxury and comfort. Okay, she's, you look at that picture, and to me, that is their ultimate goal, and God forbid that they lose that. And then we have the Three of Sticks, which is the Three of Wands, and I think that this is the stage that Darren was in. He was still in the early stages. The three is early on in the plan. That's the exploration stage. That is trying to think about how you're going to move forward with your plan of action. Okay, so he was in that stage. He was still in the very, very early stages, and he was a very big threat even at that stage. And so he definitely, to me, I can see that he had to be, being a threat like that. It's sad, but not shocking what happened to him. But that's the stage. And so had he been able to continue on, I'm sure he would have made great change. And he was dealing with deception. Okay, this side down here, all of this stuff down here, these people, these corrupt higher ups, whether it be politicians, whether it be organization leaders, whoever it may be, this describes them to a T, right? This is deception. This is smiling to your face and telling you what you want to hear and telling you what they think you want to hear, and doing the complete opposite behind closed doors, which is what a lot of politicians do, most of them. And, it's no surprise that this card is coming out with Darren Seals' situation. So I do believe that, these people here that he was up against, you would be shocked as to who is behind these cards, the people that are behind these cards. I do believe that it's a female and potentially a male, but the female here is definitely the one in charge. Okay, and we've got a female here as well. Usually a lot of times in many decks, Seven of Swords is a male, but in this situation we're actually dealing with a female. And so I do believe that the person that is ultimately behind Darren's death is a female, okay? And it wouldn't be a female that you would expect it to be. This is someone that you wouldn't expect to be behind it. You would be shocked. This is someone who is, like I said, very disingenuous to the public when she's speaking, when she's talking to the community, but completely different behind the scenes, okay? Very, very deceptive person, very dangerous person. All right, and then we have the courting card, which is the Lovers. So we have a relationship. This actually, I'm not quite sure if this is coming out because maybe Darren was in a relationship, or is it a potential that these two people down here are in a relationship? It is actually next to, if I look at the placement, I've got Darren, I've got the Lovers, and I've got the Seven of Knives. And so this makes me wonder if there was someone in his life that he was potentially close with that was someone that was not to be trusted. Was there a female in his life that maybe recently came into his life, and was she giving information to people, or what was she a setup? Was she someone who was sent into, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm leaning on it. But we've got a relationship here. So there's a relationship, and it looks like they're being watched. So we've got, if you go back and you look at the card in, the book, I think they say that these are the parents of, his parent, her parent, and they're just kind of, making sure that they're a good fit, right? But in this particular case, I'm looking at these two women on the outside, and I'm seeing two people watching this couple walk down the road. And it makes me feel like this potential relationship was being closely monitored by someone. And why would the relationship be monitored by someone? What was the reason? Like I said, was it a setup? Was it someone that was sent to Darren's life to get personal information, to see what he knew? That is kind of where I'm leaning with that card. All right. So definitely so far, I believe that we have a female. We have a female that has something to do with Darren's murder. All right, so let's see if we can get some more information on this female. Okay, so we have the Daughter of Coins, so that's going to be the Page of Pentacles. The Father of Coins, so the King of Pentacles, lots of money. Ten of Baskets, family. Ten of Cups, happy family. We've got Temperance, Father Sims, 14, Temperance. The Eight of Coins. The Three of Knives, so the Three of Swords. Two of Baskets, so we've got a relationship coming out here. There's a relationship. Three of Coins, Daughter of Baskets, and then the Four of Knives, so Four of Swords. All right, so let's see here. All right, so right away when I seen the Eight of Coins, okay, the Eight of Pentacles, I literally, again, I feel like we're looking at Darren here. This is, to me, Darren, and it just shows his hard work. I mean, he was a person that was, held a day job, and probably not an easy one for that matter. Working at General Motors on the assembly line is probably not the easiest job. It's probably a very laborious job, and so he did long hours on that during the day, and he was trying to make something out of a singing career, and he was an activist, and that takes a lot of time and fortitude and patience and drive, and he had it. Like, he was able to do all of those things, and he did all of them well. He was able to, like I said in my intro, he raised money for Christmas dinners, Thanksgiving dinners. He did toy drives. That's a lot of work. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, I want to raise money for, children who are living in poverty. I want to raise money for a toy drive. That takes a lot of effort. It's not just something that you whip together. And so for him to be able to accomplish all of those things at the age of 29 really tells me how he was a determined person. He was a determined worker. He was focused. Okay, he looked at every single detail on everything. Very intelligent, very detail-oriented. This is definitely him, I feel, without a doubt. Okay, kind of, again, he's coming out as this loner person. He's coming out as a person that's by himself. And I feel like that really kind of tells me that his, change. A lot of people will come out and say they want change, but only very few of them want real change. And I feel like Darren Seals is one of the very few people that wanted real change and was trying to fight for real change. And he controversial, yeah, but he was, I don't want to say he was alone in his stance, because there are people out there that want true real change, but just him coming up in these cards as a single person kind of shows how he was alone in this fight. All right, he might have had a few people that were right there with him, but overall he was alone in this fight. Okay, he was up against a whole army of people that you would think would be supporting him, but were actually not. And then again, we have the Four of Knives, so that's the Four of Swords. That's that rest card. It's usually a rest card, but it's a needed rest. And, sometimes depending on what deck I'm using, the Four of Swords can look like a man that's laying in a coffin, really. It looks like a coffin. And so I will often, sometimes, especially in tarot or true crime tarot readings, I will look at that as sometimes indicating death, depending on what's around it. And we obviously know what happened to Darren, and I do believe that his fight, his work, is what actually ended up killing him. This was definitely a murder based on the change, the real true change that he was trying to make happen. That was what happened. Temperance, Father Sims, this to me just really, it gives me some, it makes me feel like he was really the one that was, again, it reiterates everything that I've said so far. This is the true nature of Darren. This is what he was about. He was about, everything that this card here encompasses, this Father Sims, this balance, this, it looks very peaceful. I mean, this person, it's a very calming card. This individual looks like a very well-educated person. He looks like a very kind person. He's a father, right? And so he is someone who offers guidance and assistance and is there for people. This to me kind of definitely, again, describes what Darren was and what he would have grown into be. He would have grown into be someone very, very influential, and that was frightening for people. All right, so we have the Three of Coins, we have the Three of Knives. So the Three of Knives, that's the Three of Swords. That's heartbreak, right? That's heartbreak and devastation. And that is right under the Daughter of Coins and the Two of Baskets. So I have to kind of feel like, I'm wondering, I don't know if he has children. I would be curious to know. That is not something that I was able to look up or didn't even think about looking up. So I don't know if he had children at all, but the way this Three of Knives is located, it's right between the Daughter of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. So we've already had the Lovers come out, and now we've got the Two of Cups, and we've got that right here in the middle. In the middle is heartbreak. And so this makes me feel like there was someone in his life that was close to him that is still dealing with the repercussions of what happened to him. And because of this Daughter of Pentacles, I have to wonder, does he have children? So if anybody knows, if you care to put it in the comment section, I would be really curious. I will look it up later on too to see if he has any children, but that is definitely still the hurt to this day. The hurt to this day is still felt. And then we have the Three of Coins. So this is all about collaboration, right? The Three of Pentacles. So to me, this whole murder was a collaboration. Who was it a collaboration with? Was it a local politician? Was the police department in on it? Was these organizational leaders in on it. Quite possibly, my guess would be probably yes. That is the collaboration that we're talking about. This was something that was, agreed upon by different individuals and organizations. Okay, this was like almost, I haven't gotten anything yet to say that this could have been a paid hit, but this was definitely along those lines. When the collaboration card comes out when someone's been murdered, that's to me how I look at it. Okay, there were a couple of different, at least 3 individuals, higher up individuals at that, not just like, people that knew him on the streets of St. Louis. These are higher up individuals. I'm thinking back at that Empress, that female, and that King of Swords. And now we've got the Father of Coins, which is the King of Pentacles. So, that's who I'm thinking of. This is someone who has some connections to money. All right, so connections to money, what do you do with money? You pay someone. That's kind of where I'm looking at. But this was definitely planned by a couple of different people. The 10 of Cups, the 10 of Baskets, right? That's family. And it's coming out reversed. And so I do feel like this is his family again, devastated. Devastated. I put that right here with this 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords. I mean, this is the loss, the pain that they feel from losing Darren. It's still affecting the community. I think it's still affecting the community. It's definitely affecting his family. But there's other people that it's affecting as well. It's not just a few. It's several. Okay, several families that are still affected by his loss to this very day and will be affected for a very long time. And then again, we have another daughter. We have the Daughter of Baskets. So that's the Page of Cups. All right. And so, is this, are we talking about an actual person here, or are we talking about, this relationship where it was in the early stages? I'm not sure. I'm almost... I'd be curious to know if he was in a relationship at the time of his murder. If there was a woman in his life, and how long had this woman been in his life? Did he know this woman for very long? I can't say 100% sure that I'm confident that this relationship was genuine, although I do have the Lovers and the 2 of Baskets. But there's something here to me where I feel like someone was sent into his life to almost act as a spy, to get information from him, like an informant type person. And I don't know if it's the relationship person or if it's someone else, but I feel like there was some individual that was sent into Darren's life to be just that, an informant. So something's going on there. And if not, and the informant may not have been the relationship person, okay? It may have been just a female that he knew if he had a relationship. But I do feel like there was an informant in his life that was feeding information back to someone else, and this person was being paid to do that. All right, so the Mother of Baskets. All right, I look at that Mother of Baskets, which is the Queen of Cups, and I think back to that Empress. I feel like this is the same person. And that person, to me, I don't care for this Queen of Baskets card. I've never liked it. When I first bought this deck, I did not care for this. Hold on a second. We've got the 6 of Knives, the Mother of Knives. We've got a lot of women in this situation. 9 of Knives. All right, the Strength card, the 8 of Wands, the Son of Coins, and let's do one more. And then Aunt Caroline, Wheel of Fortune. All right, so we've got a lot of women. We've got a lot of women in this situation. But this one here, like I was saying, the Queen of Cups. Okay, the Queen of Cups is usually that warm, motherly, emotional, caring female. And I was saying that in this particular deck, I have never cared for this card. I don't like the imagery on it because she looks very disingenuous. She looks almost, there's something about the way she appears. It's almost like, it reminds me of the Devil card in, what is the Light Seers Tarot. If any of you are familiar with the Devil card in Light Seers Tarot, it's temptation. He is attractive, okay? They made him, whoever created the imagery on that deck, they made the devil attractive, and they made him looking like he's trying to tempt someone to follow him. And he has his arm out just like that. And so immediately when I first seen this card, I looked at her hand out there, and it was almost like that temptation type, come with me, and more of a luring type than anything else, than a helpful type. And so that's how I associate, ever since then, I've associated the Queen of Cups or the Mother of Baskets in this deck to be exactly like the Devil card in the Light Seers Tarot, almost as a temptation type person, but not the being genuine is not there. This is someone that's up to something. And so I do believe that we are going back to that Empress. We're going back to the Empress because there is a woman in that local area. And I do believe she's from the local community. I don't know if she is from an organization. I don't know if she is a local politician. But there's a woman that is high up, okay, in, the hierarchy, and she is very much out there with a smile on her face, and she's portraying herself as being there for the community and wanting change, and, just, doing the talk, telling everybody what they want to hear, what sounds good. But she is everything but that behind closed doors. That is not what she is about, okay? She is very, very deceptive, a very dangerous woman. And I do believe that she is the one that's behind Darren's death, okay, his murder. She didn't do it herself, okay? There's other people here that are coming up in this reading besides her. And I have not pulled a knight yet, and I expected to pull a knight in this reading. I have not, but I do feel like there's potentially another person that was the person that is the person that carried out the actual act. But this woman here, this woman is deadly, and she's the one that's truly behind it. So this woman is scary to me. That's a scary person. That's someone that you don't want to mess with. And then we have the Mother of Knives. So we have the same thing. We have, the Queen of Swords. Again, this is someone who is usually fair, okay, but serious. Doesn't have any kind of qualms about, knocking a person off their high horse. But this person is generally fair. However, in this particular reading, I'm a little bit confused, or I'm not confused, but I'm a little bit concerned about all of these women. I feel like we're talking about women in high places. There's a couple of men that have come up as well, but I'm not sure. I don't know if this person, I feel like this person is actually associated with this woman here. And there's something going on here. There's some powerful women in this story. There's powerful women in this storyline of Darren Seals. So again, I don't know local politics or politicians in the St. Louis, Missouri area, but there's some women that are in some high places that aren't really doing for the people that they claim they're doing for. And then we've got the Six of Knives. So the Six of Knives or the Six of Swords is all about leaving. It's getting the hell out of Dodge. Trying to escape a situation. Now, I wouldn't imagine that this woman here or these women, whoever these women are in this position, this higher position, I can't imagine that they would leave. Somebody involved in this case, someone involved in Darren's murder has left. And I do believe that these women here, they didn't do the dirty work themselves. They had the dirty work done. They had the actual act done, right? They're not going to do anything like that. They're not going to dirty their hands. They'll pay someone, but they're not going to do it. And so it makes me feel like, again, this person who's responsible for actually killing Darren, they're gone. They've left. They did what they did, and they left. Okay, they are no longer in that area. and we've got one person here, so I do think that there was one person potentially hired or asked to do this crime, and he is gone. Whoever that person is, he or she is gone. And we've got this 8. Okay, so 8, that's always inner strength, but I always look at the strength card as trust, commitment. Okay, this is someone that you are protective over, and you have to trust one another. I look at that as being the key thing on the strength card. And so I'm looking at all of these relationship cards again. I'm going back to that relationship. There's something about the relationship that is coming up in this reading. And this is all about trust. This is a person that, and it's underneath this woman here as well. So there's something about trusting someone in this situation, and I really do feel like the message here is it didn't come out reversed. But it makes me feel like the message is that people trust this person. This person has trust. It's not coming out reverse, so it's not like they don't have trust. This person has trust and respect from the community. This person here is putting on a really, really good show. I feel like whoever is behind his death, Darren's death, this is a woman that is in a very high position, and she is absolutely adored by the community. She is adored by the community. They love her. She puts on a face. She puts on a smile. She tells everybody what they want to hear. She has this, facade about her that people are just absolutely enamored by her, and they trust her. They trust her to do what's right. And little do they know that this is the person that you would trust the least. Okay, this is not someone to trust. This is someone that's not good at all. And then we have the 8 of Sticks, so the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands, I feel like this is definitely what Darren was experiencing. He was coming up against roadblock after roadblock. I mean, this is definitely 8 of Wands. When you think of the 8 of Wands, you're kind of getting to the end of the road, right? And the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, that is kind of complete mental and maybe, this is more like an inner exhaustion. And I feel like he don't want to say he might have been frustrated. He might have been getting frustrated. He wouldn't have given up, though. He wasn't that type. But he was coming up against blocks, and he wasn't making the headway that he was hoping for, because all of these people here were trying to stop him from accomplishing what he set out to accomplish. And then we have the Son of Coins. So the Son of Coins is, the Page of Pentacles. And, I like this card. I really, really like the card that they show. And this card actually came up in the first reading that I did on Darren Seals. Okay, this card came up specifically. And when I read on him, when this card came up, the first thing I looked at was that zodiac wheel. The zodiac wheel is actually facing towards the, is it the Scorpio? It's right on the Scorpio sign. It's on the Scorpion, if you can see it. There's something about that date or that time frame, which is coming soon. Scorpio season's right around the corner. There's something about Scorpio season. And it's ironic that this card came out again, because like I said, I don't even know if I said it, but the woman who actually requested that I do this reading, she literally paid for a private reading on Darren because she was so intent on trying to get information on him. And I did a reading for her, a private reading on Darren, and this was one of the cards that came out. I don't even know if I said that in the beginning of the video, but I did do a reading on him. And so I also did tell her that she asked if I could make her reading public, and I didn't want to do that because there were some personal things in that video as well. And so I told her I would do another video as a public weekly video, and so that's why I'm doing this video today. Now, the first reading, many of the things are similar. Many of the things are similar. The woman is still coming out. There was a woman behind his murder, and it was a higher up woman, so that's still the same. But this card also came out, and I felt like there was a connection between Scorpio season and this lady right here. So is there a public figure that is from the St. Louis area? Is, you know, there a birthday coming soon? Is there a birthday coming soon? So I also felt like at the time that I did the other reading that there was going to be a public celebration, because I did pull the Three of Cups, and it was right next to this one. And so I thought, okay, maybe there's going to be an announcement of a, you know, a banquet, a dinner, a celebration, a party, I don't know, something along those lines. But the fact that the Scorpio card is coming out again makes me feel like that is of some importance, okay? So I would definitely be curious to see if there's any local politicians with a Scorpio birthday. And then we have Aunt Caroline. So Aunt Caroline is, I feel like this is a good sign that this woman here, this situation, they're not going to get away with this forever. Their luck is going to run out eventually. They are riding on luck. They are getting away with it up until now. Well, they're still getting away with it, but they're not going to get away with what they're doing forever. Everything that is done in the dark comes to light eventually. That's just the way it is. If you're on cloud nine, chances are, especially if you're doing it in a way that, you know, you're not a good individual, you're not going to stay in that position for very long. So this Wheel of Fortune card is a good luck card in a sense. But when you're doing things like this in a dark and evil kind of way, that luck is bound to run out eventually. And so I do feel like they are not going to get away with this forever. And then we have the Nine of Knives. So we've got the Nine of Swords. This is that 3 a.m. card. And if you look at this card, this is to me their actions. And because it's a 9, I feel like they've been doing evil acts time and time again. This isn't anything new for them. I don't necessarily know if these people, I do feel like I feel safe enough to say, honestly, well, not safe, but I feel comfortable enough to say that we're talking about local politicians and local organization leaders that are behind Darren Seals' murder. And these are people that you would least expect, okay? So I'm not going to say a political party or the organization, although I have mentioned organizations in this video. They are not the people that you would expect to be behind this man's murder. And they are the very people that are behind it because they don't want true change. They don't want real change. He wanted real change, and that was a threat to them and their way of living, okay? And their money, their lifestyle. They want money for themselves. They don't care about these communities or the youth or people living in poverty or the people of St. Louis or any other city for that matter. They are more concerned about themselves. They might dish out a little bit here and there just to kind of make themselves look good, but compared to what they probably fill their own pockets with is nothing. And so this to me kind of describes them. Okay, them. And there's more than one. And the fact that I feel like they are capable of murdering someone like Darren really shows what he was on. He was on to something. He was on to something. And they had to stop him. They had to shut him up. And I don't know if the police department is in on it as well. If maybe they, you know, because we're talking like, what, 2016 that this happened? So we're going on, what, 5-6 years, and they still don't know who murdered him. Yeah, I doubt that. I would, my guess would be, let me just ask, because I do want to ask if the police, the St. Louis, Missouri police, if they know who murdered Darren Seals. Do the St. Louis police know who murdered Darren Seals? Yeah, so I feel like they know. I do. I feel like they know who did it. Now, whether or not they have the evidence or whether or not it's just so much corruption that they're afraid to pursue it, I don't know. But I have a feeling that they probably do know who is behind his murder. And I don't think that, yeah, it's just a sad situation. It's a sad situation. Let me go ahead and shuffle these like this because these are so big. All right. Okay, that one fell out. So we've got completion, which is the Four of Wands. Oppression, the Ten of Wands, reversed. Abundance, the Three of Cups. The Magician. Actually, the Magician came out reversed. Let me change that. And then the Seven of Swords. So we have more deception. We have the Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, the Therapist, and let's do one more. We have Justice. All right, so just the fact that Justice is coming out and it's not reversed makes me feel like, oh Jesus, makes me feel like, you know, it's possible we'll know what happened someday. I don't know when, but to me, this coming out upright is a good sign, right? No one is above the law. No one's above the law. I don't care if you're a politician or if you're an officer of the law. Okay, you're not above the law. And that's why justice is always blind, because we are all held to the same standard. And so some people get it in their mind that they are above the law. And I think that in this situation, the people that are behind Darren Seals' murder probably feel that way. And up until this point, they have been able to get away with it. But with this card coming out, I don't feel like they will always continue to get away with it. Like I said, what's done in the dark is always, to me, brought up in the light. Some way, somehow, okay, eventually. And I do believe that we're talking about a woman. And we're talking about the Magician here. The Magician came out reversed. This is sneaky and manipulative. When the Magician comes out reversed, this is a person who will do anything that they can possibly think of to achieve what it is they want to do. Okay, they are willing to break all sorts of moral and ethical and legal things to get what they want. So this is definitely, I you know, when I think of that, I think of, well, you know what, politicians. I do believe that Darren Seals was, you know, definitely murdered by someone. Look, we've got the Four of Pentacles, and on this particular card it says power. The Four of Pentacles is not usually what I would think of when I think of the four, or power is not what I would think of with the Four of Pentacles. You know, I think of the guy sitting there holding his money, but here it's power. And I feel like that in this case is telling me that this was done by powerful people. This is something that there was something about Darren that, like I said many times in this reading already, he was a very threatening individual. He was onto something, and they could not have that. And so again, we've got the Seven of Wands, or the Seven of Swords, sorry. We've got deception and lies all over the place here, all over the place involved in this situation. It's messy. It's a messy situation. And then again, we have another four here. We have the Four of Wands, completion. And I feel like that is what they feel like they did when they got rid of Darren. They completed that task. That was something that they needed to do, and they did it, and they completed it. So I look at that card as specifically that. And the Ten of Wands here, okay, oppression. So to me, I'm not even looking at this as the Ten of Wands. I'm literally looking at this as justice, right? Or being held responsible for your actions, consequences. And it kind of goes with that Justice card. And the fact that it's coming out reversed tells me that we don't have justice yet, okay? This has not occurred yet, but I think it will. It hasn't yet, but I think it will. And I think the fact that it's coming out reversed tells me that it hasn't happened yet. But this coming out upright tells me that we have to have hope that it will. Okay, something's going to happen. Something's going to come out that, information is going to, come out, and these people aren't going to get away with this forever. I have to have hope that I don't think that these people are going to get away with it forever. And it is going to be a cause for celebration. And remember, I said when I pulled that Zodiac, or not the Zodiac card, but the Page of Pentacles with the Scorpio on there, I said that in my first reading on Darren, I pulled the Three of Cups with it. And so I looked at that as there was going to be a birthday party. There was a celebration. And sure enough, and I wasn't using this deck when I pulled that card. I was using the Hoodoo Tarot. So this one here literally looks like a birthday cake. There's a birthday cake on here. So we are talking about a celebration. I feel like there is something going on here soon, or going to happen soon. There's someone that's involved in Darren's case or his murder in the higher up that is going to be having a birthday celebration in the near future during Scorpio season. This is reversed. Okay, so, I don't know. There's something there to me with that Scorpio season and this celebration. The fact that it's reversed, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be canceled, or maybe it's going to turn out not like they had hoped it was going to turn out. There's something going on there. I'm not quite sure what it is, because it hasn't quite happened yet, and I do feel like it's going to happen, though. I feel like soon we're going to, I would be curious to do a little research on the local politicians of the St. Louis area and see if there's any leader that is going to be celebrating a birthday or something along those lines, because I do believe that person has something heavily to do with Darren and what happened to Darren. And then we have the therapist, the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is usually, remember, it's someone that provides guidance. It's that motherly, kind person. And I feel like in this situation, though, it's not coming out reversed, and I'm not really getting anything around it that's too crazy. But because we are dealing with women, I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who the Queen of Cups is. I don't know if this is someone who is, possibly trying to fight for justice. This might be another person who's actually trying to fight for this justice. Not necessarily the woman that's behind all this stuff, but there might be another female that we're not aware of, okay, that also has power, that also has some influence and power, but she is actually on the right side. She's actually trying to figure out what the hell happened. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a woman, because this is coming up right next to the Justice card. And she's also coming up underneath that reversed celebration card. So this person here makes me feel like, and you get a good vibe from her. You get a good, her face, her demeanor. She looks like a nice person, and she looks genuine. And she looks like she has genuine compassion and care. And so I have to wonder if there is a female that is looking into Darren's case and has been looking into Darren's case for a while now, and maybe has been doing it in an on the low kind of way, or incognito, or maybe not. Maybe she's been doing it publicly, but I feel like there's a woman that is actually looking into the case, and that will make some difference in the future. I think that will actually, whoever this is, I do think is going to end up bringing justice to this case. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these cards away, and then I'm going to pull out an oracle card. and see what message we have. All right. Message from Darren. Message from Darren. What kind of message does Darren Seals have for us today? Darren, what kind of message do you have for us today? What do you want us to know? What do you want us to know? All right, so I always like to fan these out. All right, what kind of message do you have for us today? Okay, so we have Page of Gabriel, energetic, brave, optimistic, and playful. Follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge. Opportunities for excitement, adventure. And I feel like that is definitely a message from Darren. I really do. I feel like this is describing his personality to a T. He was energetic. He was brave. He was optimistic, and he probably had a playful side too. He probably had a good sense of humor. I bet he was, like that with the people that he was close to. And he was a passionate person. I mean, definitely wands. Okay, he came out to me as that king of wands, above his years, wiser than his years, older than his years. And he faced many challenges, and he would have had, I don't know, he to me, he would have made a huge difference in especially that local community, and possibly even beyond that local community had he been allowed to live and pursue what he was trying to do. But I do believe that this is a message from him to not use his situation as a means to not continue that fight. That is what his message is for, I think, everyone. Don't look at what happened to him and give up and not stand up for what is right. Those things still have to be done. There still have to be Darrens in the world, right? Darren was a face of change, a voice of change, and not just the surface change that we hear from politicians and organizational leaders, but real true change. And that was what he was fighting for. And so I do believe that this is him saying, don't give up on that. Don't give up on that. And that's an important message. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this reading this week. And if you guys know any more information about Darren Seals, like I said, I did not know anything about him until this lady came to me for this reading. And so I would be curious to know if anybody had followed him while he was alive or anything like that. I would be really curious to know. He sounds like an inspirational person and a person that was taken way too early. And it's sad and unfortunate. So that's all I have for you guys this week. And until next week, until next weekend, rather, you guys have a wonderful and safe week. I will see you then. Bye.